Do you see similarities in the way Harry and Meghan left the royal family to the way that Diana left?
There was one standout moment where Harry gave a speech for Centre Barley, one of the charities that he's affiliated with, just after making the announcement to step back. And he spoke about why it is that they were making this move and thanking people who had been part of their journey so far.
When I lost my mum 23 years ago, you took me under your wing. You looked out for me for so long, but the media is a powerful force. And my hope is one day our collective support for each other can be more powerful, because this is so much bigger than just us. Together, you have given me an education about living. And this role has taught me more about what is right and just than I could ever have imagined.
Thank them for the education that they had given him. And I remember at the time thinking that the words were really familiar. And I looked back at that speech that Diana gave at a charity engagement when she officially stood back from her official public duties, and the words almost mirrored each other.
When I started my public life 12 years ago, I understood the media might be interested in what I did, but I was not aware of how overwhelming that attention would become, nor the extent to which it would affect both my public duties and my personal life in a manner that's been hard to bear.
It was like Harry had gone back and looked up what his mother had said at such an important time in his life, because of course he can't ask her for that advice himself, so he instead looks at the path that she already took on. And so there are these moments where we see a similarity in the decision she makes, and I'm sure that that in itself makes Harry realise that he is doing the right thing and that his mother would approve.
At the end of this year, when I've completed my diary of official engagements, I will be reducing the extent of the public life I've led so far.
We are taking a leap of faith, so thank you for giving me the courage to take this next step.
As proud as we all were to see, Meghan become our American princess, and especially as women of color, to see a woman who looks like us, for the most part, become a member of the royal family, we were also holding our breath because we knew the moment of racism would come. We could see it a mile away. I thought it was interesting that in the book you had mentioned when Harry first started seeing what was going on, he was, I think the word you used was incandescent with anger. Part of me said, I get it. The other part of me thought, what did they expect? Did they really not expect this?
I think for the couple, they knew what kind of criticism lay ahead. She was a biracial American former actress marrying into the House of Windsor, and that ticked all the boxes that were going to ruffle feathers. But I think for Harry and Meghan to really witness that up close, and for Harry, for the first time in his life, to see someone that he loved dearly be on the receiving end of racist attacks would have been very disturbing for him. And immediately in that moment, we saw him jump into this very protective mode that I would argue that he hasn't dropped ever since. We only have to look at the relationship he had with his mother and how close he was to Diana and how much her death affected him. I would imagine that this is a chance for him to protect a woman in a way that he wasn't able to before.
All we need to do is focus on being real and focus on being the people that we are, and standing up for what we believe in. I will not be bullied into playing a game that killed my mum.
So when we hear Harry talking about not wanting to play the games that his mother did, he really does worry or fear for the worst for Meghan. I think there are times where they were both really fearful of how bad things could get. There were threats coming to the palace, the conversations online were extremely toxic, even on the royal social media, it got pretty dicey. And so I would imagine for the couple, wanting to get away from that and sort of re-establish things on their own terms would have been really important.
Do you think he sees his mom in Meghan a lot?
I think there's a level of protectiveness that Harry has towards Meghan and Archie because of what he saw happen to his mother. He realises how easy it is for an individual's life to be turned upside down in the most tragic of ways, and he's determined for that not to happen to his own family. And so some may argue that that has led to an extra layer of sensitivity, that he is perhaps a bit more aware of some of these things that take place or could happen to his family than others. But I think, if anything, he's also grown up within the institution. He knows what goes on behind the scenes. He knows that not everyone has the best intentions of other members of the royal family at heart. And so he really wanted to protect Meghan from getting wrapped up in what he saw as sort of a viper's nest of men in grey suits and people that didn't always have their best interests at heart. I think transparency was always something really important to Diana, and it's something we haven't seen a lot of in the recent months or the past few years with Harry and Meghan and their treatment of them within the royal family. Diana would have stood up for them, and she would have seen the position they were in. It mirrors some of the challenges that she faced within the institution too.